There's some Revelator songs that I'm like, man, we got to bring those back. But we've done so many songs and albums. There's like so much to choose from that I guess we don't think about it all the time.
You need to get you a really good slide player in Nashville, and you guys need to cover a Derek Trucks song.
You know, he told me Susan wrote the song, which he was proud of. He said that with great pride, you know, the way you say nice things about your family.
From the first note with Tedeschi Trucks, they just blow you away.
Yes, we will. I wouldn't argue with anyone that says that could be my favorite song on I Am the Moon.
He, signs my ticket, and I look over at Susan. I say, Susan, would you sign it too? And she goes, oh, heck yeah.
Kevin calls me and was like, hey, man, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. He was like, Derek wants to record some tuba stuff. I said, when do you want to do it? And he was like, let's do it Wednesday.
It was midnight in Harlem. And it caught our attention, man. And we started diving deep, and we're like, okay, we got to see these guys.
What's up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 194, and I am Adam Choi. To follow the show at Tedeschi Trucks podcast on Instagram, on YouTube, please subscribe. I definitely appreciate that. Like, share, all that stuff is super cool and super helpful. I'll be putting out an audio version of this episode. Probably get that out later tonight, tomorrow, for sure. Odyssey, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on all the things. Patreon.com/TTB podcast. If you want to support at the second two tiers, a portion of your contribution gets donated to the Mr. Holland's Opus Music Foundation, supporting music education for kids. So everybody wins. All the info for that is in the description of the YouTube video. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, Bo, and Marion for the support. We're talking Arkansas, Rogers. I don't think it doesn't look like I was able to get any fans on from that show, but I saw a couple of things come out from their set list and whatnot. So we'll breeze through that one, but I do have returning Larry James to talk about the Asheville, North Carolina makeup show. So without further ado, let's bring in Larry. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Adam. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I see you. I hear you. You're back. How are you? And where are you?
Back home in Summerville, South Carolina, outside Charleston. Doing pretty well. I'd say about 75% considering. I put my head on my pillow a little after 1 a.m. last night, or actually this morning. So, yeah, I made it back and was able to even do some vacuuming today.
There you
before
go.
I took a nap.
How far are you from Asheville?
It's like 3.5 hours.
Oh, that's
not too bad.
It ain't around the corner.
Yeah, it's not. But in the South, you got to travel at least 2 hours almost to every destination, depending on where you are. I think I'm 5 hours from Atlanta, 4 hours from Jacksonville, 3 hours from Charlotte, and 3 to 4 hours from Asheville, and I guess Raleigh is 5 hours. So if you're gonna go see TTB, you gotta end that in 2 hours to Savannah. So those are our like locations, and we know that they're gonna play one of those locations.
That's it. You're in an interesting spot geographically, because you have access to all these TTB shows, but none of them are typically super duper close to where you are, or they don't come through. What's the closest venue to where you live that TTB has come through before?
I mean, they played. I mean, for the shows in Charleston.
Sure.
Yeah, they played last fall. At a place that's like 15 minutes from my house, which was nice. It wasn't a bike ride, but I had to get on the interstate. But once I got there, it was a easy in, easy out. Yeah, no brainer. It was that festival where the Hootie and Blowfish played.
Nice. I guess I'm thinking about the same question. I guess the closest that TTB has ever played to where I lived, I think I was still living in Hollywood, the geographical location, Hollywood, in 2000, late 2010, early 2011, and they played the House of Blues when it was still a thing, and that must have been 3.5 miles, 4 miles, maybe from where I was at the time. So that was probably the closest I ever lived to TTB playing nearby.
The furthest I've ever traveled was I was at a conference in Mississippi. And I hope none of my bosses hear this podcast, but I ditched out on the conference because it was so boring. But TTB was playing.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Right. And TTB was playing in Dallas. And so I drove from, I think it was like Biloxi, Mississippi, and all the way over that area, all the way across Texas to Dallas for the night. And it was a great show. I'm glad I did.
I probably asked you this already, but do you have that kind of feeling or passion or desire to see other bands and artists in the same way that you would drive for TTB? I mean, I guess you're saying to see shows, it's somewhat required to see popular music.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's rooted in previous endeavors of me in college and, after college, just driving across the Southeast. And when I went to, even late high school, we would get in the car and go up to DC to see the Grateful Dead at RFK Stadium every year, from like 92, 93, 94. And we would go up to Raleigh to see the Allman Brothers every summer from 91, 92, 93, all the way to, through. And, getting in the car and taking that road trip was like a rite of passage. I mean, they never played in our town, so we always had to get in the car and go. So I always enjoy a nice road trip, more so in the fall than the summer. But the spring's becoming, as I get older, I enjoy the spring more now. Seems to be a better time of year for me. So, but it's it's rooted in the just get out of your house, going on a trip, having a rock and roll experience. It's great.
It sucks in the summer because it's just hot and it's humid, muggy in the car traveling and all that, or it's more expensive, or it's
summertime. They usually play open air sheds, and it's just it's Live Nation in your face all day long. So I like the indoor arenas or the smaller theaters settings. Sure. And usually if your bands that well, they'll probably play those outfits in the spring and the fall, and then play the bigger box sheds, outdoor amphitheaters in the summer. So, I mean, that's what TTB used to do. They used to play, do a nice tour in the fall and do a nice tour in the winter, small theaters and, mid-size arenas. But now they're like this year, they've booked everything at once. I think they kind of did that last year too. So we'll see what happens. But, as long as they keep it going, we really can't complain.
No, yeah, they're doing it. They got dates, they got new music coming. Tell me about I guess the story of like this show, because it was obviously canceled because of Hurricane Helene and all the awful devastation and issue and terribleness with that, but they made it up.
I mean, they made it up. I mean, I didn't have a ticket before, but as everyone knows, in October we had terrible hurricanes come through Florida, and this one happened to extend up through Georgia into the North Carolina mountains, and Helene just caused massive destruction in western South Carolina and western North Carolina, and just these people here experienced something that they've never really truly experienced. Just the sheer volume of water, rainfall that came through the mountains, and with the elevation and the slope, it caused severe mudslides and tree falls and flooding, which, the velocity of all that water filled into the already swollen rivers, because it had been raining there for a couple of days. It caused massive flooding, which pushed into, residential areas, also commercial areas, places that have been built up for 100 years that never really flooded, were just under 20 feet of water. So it was devastating for Asheville, devastating for a lot of little mountain towns. Hot Springs, Swannanoa, apparently it's one of the worst hit. So I had several conversations last night with people, just asking them, how are you doing? What was it like that night? How's the rebuilding going? Have you been able to pick up the pieces? Most of the people seem very positive. They see some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, so it's good.
Yeah, that's good that there's been some progress and whatnot. Yeah, just a tough situation and just unfortunate. Is there anywhere safe on this planet that you're safe from Mother Nature? I don't think there really is. What would be? There's always something and somewhere that's going to get you, some natural thing. I guess there's some things that are relatively more safe than others, but
apparently there's only 3 places in the world that have tornadoes, and the United States is the highest.
Yeah, we're special.
We're real special with tornadoes, apparently. I mean, literally no other place on the planet has as many tornadoes as we do. It's incredible. But
interesting.
Yeah, you're not safe here. You've got floods, famine, everything. Tornadoes, hailstorms.
Fun
freezes, times. Yeah. Heat waves, everything, No,
but that's why we need music to get us
right.
through the tough times and to help us appreciate and experience joy. The joy in the moment and whatnot is something you get from music and culture and living life and whatnot. Should we get into? We can go back to. Should we look at the?
We can go through Rogers. I mean, talk about it.
Yeah, let's.
I've never been there, but heard good things about it.
Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Do you have pictures of that venue?
I'm gonna pull it up. Let's do that. This is the here, but I'll also look up what was the name of the venue? Walmart Amphitheater.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with Arkansas, it's obviously the home of Sam Walton and Walmart, and everything in that area is Walmart Central headquarters. And I don't know about Rogers. I've never been there, but obviously that's why the sponsorship is that. But it's a brand new amphitheater. I think it opened a few years ago for brand new, meaning it hasn't been there too long, but it's apparently very nice, big, but very nice, which you can imagine. I like that tent. It's kind of neat.
Well, TTB describes themselves as a traveling circus, don't they?
Yeah.
Haven't they?
Yeah.
In a sense, that's what Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Mad Dogs and the Allman Brothers. I'm losing it. Mad Dogs and the Englishmen.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like a pretty good crowd. I'm sure it's like 10, 15,000, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I wonder how they did. I wonder if they play Arkansas very often. I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't think so either. I don't know. But, I'm like, they play Nebraska, but then if you go back and look, they literally tour Nebraska. They used to tour Nebraska or Iowa, one of the states, like in the middle of the winter every year.
Yeah,
it was like craziest thing. But
Google says 9,500. Wikipedia says 11,000 capacity for this place.
Okay.
Interesting.
Let's check out the set list.
Yeah, what do we got here? Some correction. Assuming this is right. Made up mind, playing with my emotions. Here, my dear, come and go blues anyhow. 44 blues, 44 crazy crying. Idlewind, do I look worried? Midnight in Harlem, Gin House Blues, that did it. Bound for Glory. Angels, and this is the Encore Angel from Montgomery into Sugary. And then I went more into Beck's Bolero. And if you're watching, you could see a whole bunch of things scratched out and edits on the set list and notes and whatnot. But this is a stellar set list. Yeah, that did it. I think is that the first that did it of this year, I think. I can't recall saying that. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
I haven't seen it. I went through them today, and that one's the first, I think. I wonder if she
First-
did a shout out to a local establishment, as she usually
Oh yeah,
does. You know,
yeah. What's the local bar? What's the local bar in Rogers, Arkansas? Maybe
That would be
maybe
her.
she went for some like historic blues reference or
Yeah.
something
I'm
like
sure
that.
there's some good blues history in Arkansas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
been
I got
referenced
no
in BB
idea.
King songs. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it the first Gin House also, and the first?
I think it
What
was.
happens if I click on this?
Does it tell you every time played? You got to go all the way to the bottom. Unfortunately, they should reverse that. Okay.
Oh man,
looks...
we have notes.
Yeah, we have notes.
Maybe you can restore it actually. Yeah, look,
maybe
we
you
can.
can. Okay, there you go.
It needs to default to this view.
Yeah.
Your free site needs to be perfect for
I know.
No, this is awesome that this
is a wonderful resource.
It exists. Yeah, no, so it was the first Gin House of the year, and I think the first 44 also, I'm guessing. 44 Blues. If this is up to date. Yeah, the first one. Everything else I think we have heard this year of these songs. Maybe not. Have we heard I Want More Bex Bolero yet? Maybe at one of the other
they
shows.
Played that. And, I think they played that in Texas.
Yeah, Woodlands and Austin.
I think that's the first Come and Go Blues, though, for sure. Maybe.
Let's see. Let's do this all day. Let's do this. Be nerds. Now this is what this is going to be. Now everybody, this is going to be it's going to get even more in the weeds thanks to the ttbase.net. Definitely, everyone needs to check out that site and support them too. So this is the first one.
Yeah, great. So that's good. So you go Almonds, got a little throwback blues, a little Bessie. Gin House Blues is I can't think of her name. Bessie Smith, is that right? Gin House Blues is hers.
I'm not sure who did Gin House Blues originally.
Well, click on it, see if it tells you.
Oh yeah, it probably does. I'm used to going to another browser and like searching stuff. Originally performed by Bessie Smith.
Bessie Smith. That was right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
The first one of this.
Anyway, I think Mike does that one fantastic. I mean, his delivery is just right on target when it's that song. And then, Feel So Bad last night, he played that, and just his delivery is just so unmatched in anything else that they do. When it comes to like just vocal prowess, he's just got it, and he commands
effortless.
the stage.
Effortless.
And I enjoy 1999, and that's great. We can talk about it later, but I think it's more like, to me, like just so unique to see that song portrayed in a blues number. But I think he speaks more to me in a blues song, that's truly set up to like a Gin House Blues, or it's more of like a romp.
Yeah, I'm sure he did the vocal. I'm assuming on 44 Blues also.
Yeah, that one's a little bit more slowed down blues, and
it's like a shuffle. Job. Yeah, I love that. I love that one. Well, have you heard Crazy Crying, the new one? Did they play that at your show to get?
No, they didn't play it.
They didn't play it. They played other new songs. We'll get to. We'll get to.
Well, I do like this Crazy Crying song. I listened to it from the festival.
Sand Soul,
yeah. And am I crazy? But I feel like I hear the meters in that song.
I heard. Oh my God! Did I just yell? I had that exact thought as I was doing laundry and listening the other day. Wow, that's funny. That's pretty specific, but that's fun. That's funny.
I literally hear like not Fire on the Bayou, but Sissy Strut or something like that. It's literally almost the same. I'm not going to say they're ripping it, but I'm just saying that it's close to where, there's some similarities between the chord progression.
It's funny because I didn't have that thought until like yesterday or 2 days ago, and I have already listened to the song 7,000 times.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are making some good comparisons to like the Signs album and things like that, but I'm like,
it's that plus the meters.
Yeah, right. Because it does switch. There's a there's a bridge in there that does more sounds like Signs, but the crazy crying bridge part in the middle. But clearly, the intro is just screaming meters, which is great. I wonder if that's Isaac's influence, but
right, New Orleans influence.
Yep. I'm sure
Derek loves all that. Derek loves all that stuff. You can almost forget how awesome Derek is just as a rhythm player. I only bring it up every other week on the show. I don't bring it up every single week. But this is a stellar set list. Idlewind is always special. And I think they're continuing with Kebby on flute, Yeah. I mean, I think of it as a dedication to Kofi. Like, it's few TTB moments during a show conjure up thoughts of Kofi in the same way regularly, immediately in the same way as like any flute played, but especially Idlewind flute played by Kebby as sort of like a dedication of sorts is how I see it. I'm trying to think of what other moments during a TTB show conjure up thoughts of Kofi. Obviously when they're playing Soul Sweet Song or Sweet Soul Song. Sweet Song. Now I'm getting confused. Sun Soul Sand. Or they're playing like I Can Feel You Smiling or something like that. But just that moment. I mean, sometimes even Midnight Harlem and Let Me Get By, some of the organ.
Yeah.
Some of
the organ part was signature Kofi. I mean, the intro and all the Signs album was him completely, all of his influence. But Kofi had such a proudness with like his presence in the music, so you could almost pick any of the songs that predated the Signs album and just say, oh yeah, I can hear that organ part, or I can hear the flute, or I can hear the influence. I mean, even Made Up Mine, something which is more of a rocker, but what I really missed was like the exchange between Derek and Kofi. Now that we're talking about it, it's like songs like Crying Over You. You go back and listen to the 2017 or 2016, those versions, they would go, 5, 6, 7 minutes. And there'd be this 2-3 minute, back and forth between Derek and Kofi. And it's just in the middle of these jams, there's amazing. And you could just tell it was a conversation they were having. And it was, something I completely really miss, but
for sure. I dive into those versions. I've dove into those versions of Crying Over You because it was never, I guess maybe when they first started Let Me Get By was new or coming out, they played it more often, but it's kind of been a song over the years that's kind of just made appearances here and there. It's never really stuck, especially in the last 5, 6, 7 years of the set list, but it's kind of never really fully disappeared. But during that time, like there were some real special moments with Kofi and Derek and Tim on bass. For sure during those times. But I appreciate all the different eras. You almost forget until you go back and listen to like, oh, that's what that song sounded like back then. They keep it fresh for themselves and fresh for us. No band does it like this. Who's doing this and whose songs evolve in a way that Tedeschi Trucks bands songs evolve on the road? I think some bands they change things to keep it fresh, which I guess is part of it. But but this band takes things to different levels and different places, and really it keeps it fresh in a totally different way by spreading out who gets a solo tonight, what section, this and that. So there's who's doing it like this? I'm kind of not asking a rhetorical question. What band can you even like compare to? Like they write songs and then for the next years is on the road, these songs evolve into their own creatures, beings, and entities.
The only band I can think of was The Dead, but they would change their whole sound system or their approach or guitar tone. So it was like, it wasn't really they're changing the song, except for a few songs they changed. But for the most part, it was the entire group. Like it was the dynamic behind the band and what they were doing. But for the most part, people have stayed, true to their one time when they were popular or one sonic quality that people know that, okay, I can hear them. So, you know, if it doesn't sound like the record that I have, then I'm not listening to them anymore. I mean, I wonder if bands like Journey, like, you know, even though Stephen Perry's not doing it anymore, but it's like, still, I guarantee you, they still sound like the record as close as possible, you know?
Yeah, sometimes I like that too in a way, but it's almost like whatever you do, what's most authentic for that band and what feels right for that band. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I want
think
TTB to perform the songs the way they want to perform them, because that's going to lead to the like best performance. I don't want them to do their songs in a way that, oh, do it the way the fans will like it or the way management is going to like it or some other way. They just got to do. I like how they just from afar seem to just
just go out and do it. Yeah,
right, the way they want to make their music.
Sure. Yeah,
we can go back to Asheville.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, I'll pull that up.
Here we go.
So we got I don't know. That's the that late night appearance. We can get into that. I could share that as well. But what do we got? Future Soul. Do I look right? Who am I? Made Up Mind, Ain't That Something? 1999, Part of Me, Idle Wind, It Ain't Fair, Feel So Bad, Shame, Midnight in Harlem, Just Won't Burn, Soul Sweet Song, Bound for Glory, and encore of Walk on Gilded Splinters. Future Soul is a debut. And what is Who Am I?
They're both debuts. So they're both new songs. Yeah.
Not the JJ Cale song, Who Am I? Is that it was someone was saying, I do know that song. Who am I telling you? I don't know that
song.
Is it Who Am I Telling You? Who am I telling you? Okay, so it's not that. But sometimes they do abbreviate songs.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, the way it was presented, I don't think so. So right before even the show started, Susan had some nice kind words for obviously people of Asheville and the suffering and what's been going on, and happy to see things rebuild, and basically just gave them a nice little saying at the beginning of the show before we got started. So I thought that was really nice of her. So I don't remember exactly what she said, but
yeah, kind words and sentiments. Yeah, no, she's good at being, and they're good at being conscious of the moment and the location where they are and space and time and what's going on in the city and culturally and the people, like when they even just they're obviously big appreciators of history and all that. So when they go to a new city, when they go to these different cities, they definitely seem to be in tune with the fans and what's going on around them. Not every band is that way. Some people sometimes they don't know. I'm sure we travel a lot. You forget what city you're in for a second, but I
think I told you. Yeah, I think I told you the story before. I remember I was in Florida and Kiss was playing, and I have all the respect in the world for Kiss, but we were by the venue and we saw some of their roadies, and we're like, yeah, see if you can get Gene Simmons to come outside, get them to come outside. We want to get some, whatever, some signatures and stuff like that. And they're like, it was like that afternoon before the show, and the roadie was like, no, they fly in all separate jets and land, and then they just get cars to the show 10 minutes before, and then they walk up, plug in, play, plug out, and walk back to their cars and get in their jets and fly out. And I was like, wow, all these years playing together, they don't even travel together,
No, there's a few. Maybe that's when you're at that level, or if you're able to be whatever. Like I think that might be more of the norm than not the norm. And I think in part of me is almost not even like judging that in some way, because who's to say that me, you, and other people in that situation, if you're Gene Simmons, you're not going to do the same thing. But it's just knowing that and makes the music a little bit less special to me. And knowing that TTB isn't that way makes the music of theirs for me that much more, like way more special, if possible, if that's possible.
No, yeah. I mean, they could have easily just canceled the show and rebooked it for another tour, but the fact that they came back and made this special moment, kept Maggie Rose on the as the opener, and it was nice to know that they could do, Asheville and all the people there are something really good, for what they've gone through. And, they were, like you said, they were kind of looking back on, what can we do tonight? And obviously with the debut of 2 new songs, I mean, that to me, that's a special little nod, here's some new music, and we feel comfortable with you, or, we're here to test the waters here and see what what you think. And it's pretty cool, I think.
I haven't heard the songs. I don't know. Maybe I missed them in one of the Facebook groups. Someone did post a short clip or anything. I don't think I saw anything on videos. Nothing from.
Oh, this is great. Yeah. No. So unfortunately, I didn't record anything because obviously, first song, you're getting settled, you're excited, you're hooting and hollering, lights go out, you're ready to go, and they come out to a new song, you're like, okay. And the last thing you want to do is like stop and grab your phone, and I'm thinking, I'm listening, like, is this a cover? Is this a new song? You're kind of going back and forth, and you're just kind of absorb it, and you're just kind of a patron at that point. So we it was good. I mean, I didn't say I can really recite anything more about it than the fact.
Yeah. What was the vibe?
Yeah. It's like an upbeat rocker, kind of like Crazy Crying. I'd say it's like a blues standard rock.
Okay, an upbeat blues rock to quintessential TTB.
Quintessential. Susan plays the melody for the guitar riff. It's along the same lines as Crazy Crying a little bit, but doesn't sound like the Meters at all like that one does. But this one's just more of your standard blues rock. I don't think anything like Derek's guitar solo stood out, or any kind of vocals or horns, but I think it was just a straight up rocker,
Yeah.
So
I'm sure those things will when we listen back and they play it more.
Yeah.
Like it's all going to stand out, and the tightness and the songs will continue to grow on us. I appreciate you sharing information about a song that I've never heard or haven't been able to see any video of yet. That's like the reason I'm doing like this podcast. I feel like, and the show, I feel like you're telling me a story, but like paper and pen hasn't been invented yet. This is just like word of mouth. You're coming down with the tablets from Mount Sinai, telling me there's a new. Let me tell you about this new TTB song.
Yeah,
it's called Future Soul, and it's a blues rock song, and it's an upbeat rocker. It reminds me of Crazy Crying, but it's slightly different and not as New Orleans Metersy set. So I'm like, okay, I got you.
Okay.
And now I can at least, when I look at the set list, I can feel sort of a tiny bit, like what that song feels like in context a little bit more with the rest of the set list and evening and all that. So, I'm trying to feel like I was there, but I'll let you continue the you were there. But I want to know more about, of course, too.
Of course. Yeah. Well, we can start talking about that. I mean, because Delacour was great as always. It's standard number 2 slot and has a great solo at the end, and it's classic. Well, I can't really speak more than that.
Quintessential TTB.
TTB.
Essential TTB almost.
Yeah.
They love that song. There's certain songs that they must love playing, and I guess that's one of them. I guess maybe it's the crowd response, but the crowd responds to everything. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's especially it's super tight the way they go from those like big moments to the quiet moments and big moments, and with 12, it's an all 12-piece song. And I remember, I forgot what was his name. I think Adam Gorman, the guitar player. He was saying he said the way they ended is like the She's So Heavy ends it on like Stop on a Dime kind of thing is like totally perfect. It shows off how tight TTB is, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that song, like, they don't have to worry about it. I mean, it's stupid that I said that because the title, but literally they have, it's when they
have the one down.
There's no risk, Yeah. There's no risk for anyone. If you don't know how to play it by now, you're not in the band because it's, every night, every other night, you got to have those in your set list. You got to have some staples.
But I bet if we look I was gonna say I bet if we listen to previous versions and dove back, obviously the album version is at a little slower tempo. But that aside, like just listening to the previous versions, we would notice all this does sound different because of various reasons. Obviously, also sometimes the organs there'll be different solos at different times, but just the way the songs evolve is just so interesting, and I guess that keeps it fresh for them. They never do it the exact same way. And no two Derek solos, of course, are exactly the same.
Yeah. I mean, especially when he breaks the string,
right?
Which I witnessed. That
that was
funny.
On
Idle Wind.
Right?
Yeah. So amazing the fact that he literally finished in the reprise part of the song, which is just it's so voracious. It's just so much energy, and he's playing it. He loses the string, and then continues to play the solo. And I don't know if all the notes are not on that string that he lost. So my assumption is that there are some notes on that string, considering how much he's playing, that he's either hopping over those notes or playing those notes at a different level on the neck.
You can compensate with another.
To me, to be able to do that mentally is unbelievable. Like to be able to know that A is up here, but you play it down here, it's still the A, and then you're like, okay, he's all over the map, and he's playing, and then when it pauses, he's trying to break the string off the guitar. There's a great video of it I have posted. It's pretty funny.
In some ways, I feel like this set list is almost. I can almost see where if it was 2 sets, like Idle Wind would be the end of set 1, and I think Derek does. I don't have the stats to back this up, but I think there is something about him breaking strings at the last song before the end of a set, or during an encore, during the "I'm leaving it on the line" moments. Like, so just knowing, you throw up that half court shot, you put not that. That's not the best analogy, but they're leaving it on the line
on the field. Leaving it all on the field
when you're running out of time before things end. Exactly. So he definitely does that.
Well,
this is a power pack set. Oh yeah, Who Am I? Who Am I?
Who Am I? So a softer song. Again, I'm not really gonna do anyone justice here, and I apologize to the listeners and
just doing the best you can
but just amazing. Literally again, just got over the Duel Word guitar solo, and I'm like, wow, what am I doing here? It's amazing. I'm in a concert. I don't do this every day, and all of a sudden there's another new song. I'm like, wow, what's going to happen here tonight? But Who Am I is a soft Susan song. It's written in the thread of like Take Me As I Am, that kind of melody. Kind of softer though. It's not so emotionally driven though. It's not reflective. It's actually by the title it might be reflective, but it doesn't say like there's not a lot of like. It's a very soft, like sweet song, and then
more of a ballad.
More of a ballad, yeah. And I really wish I could have some sort of clip from it, but what I took away from it, what I remember, was that she sang it. Everyone's kind of playing it, and you kind of get lost in her melodic singing. Then all of a sudden, she ends the lyrics, and Derek just takes this beautiful solo at the end, and it's not like fast. It's just not really slidey.
Is it like it's so heavy? Is it like it's so heavy a little bit, the song? Maybe?
No, it's not even that. It's not even that charged. It's more of like I said, it's more of like a la-di-da kind of.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm doing really bad justice.
No, you're doing. Yeah, no, it has.
And I'm thinking to myself.
No,
I do remember.
It's more of a positive, and it's not super duper solemn or reflective. There's an upbeat or like not like an uplifting aspect to the song that even just the fact that, I mean, it seems like the way it's written on the set list, I don't know if they would include it, but the song doesn't have a question mark at the end of it. So that is always something worth observing, because certain song titles, these seemingly questions, "Do I look worried?" is a rhetorical statement. It's not a question that's meant to be asked. So maybe
Right.
Who Am I is in the same vein of that, where we're not asking who am I. I mean, I have to hear the lyrics. I was looking for the lyrics already, but
Right, I'm sure.
excited. I'm excited. I'm sure we'll hear
It's
it
a beautiful
soon
song.
enough.
It's a beautiful song, and it's well written. And Derek has an amazing solo at the end, which is like it's a little bit different style for him. It's slide, but it's more like easygoing melodic. It's not so
Yeah, I'm sure I'll cry
power
listening to this new song.
I enjoyed it. I had a great time listening to it, so it was great to hear something new and to change it up a little bit. So
I don't think
but
I've never hasn't really experienced this in the same way with other bands where new songs are like, even with new songs we haven't like with new songs that grow on you so fast that you fall in love with these songs so quickly, like that. I have not experienced that with almost like the way you're describing and the way I'm thinking, just like hearing you describe it, like the songs before I even hear them in some ways. It's interesting to like have that experience, and I appreciate it. Like, and they've talked about how with the I'm the Moon stuff, because in the manner of which the songs were released, when they first started playing them live, all the fans are singing along and know all the words of new songs, which must be a super unique and cooler experience for a band. Where it's I think with most bands, play the hits is probably what prevails more often than not. Maybe less so with the band scene, so to speak, and in certain genres, but I'm not sure.
I mean, it just depends on your audience. Some people go see shows and they've never heard a single song, and some people, like TTB fans, they really listen. They're excited for new stuff, but they want to hear old stuff too, and they have their favorite song. And it's it was one thing I noticed about the set list, and looking back at this night, they only played 4 covers, I think. One.
What do we got? 1999. Feels So Bad. It Ain't Fair. And Gilded. Did I miss anything?
No. So, usually their covers were, 4, 5, 6, there's a lot of emphasis now on bringing out their stuff.
Yeah, especially with the new music,
with the new music
coming, and I think maybe that, as opposed to maybe me predicting, and maybe they are going to, I'm not sure it is going to come soon enough. It appears one way or another. I mean, It Ain't Fair is even, of course, an Allman reference, but they did get quite a bit of fill, I think, in the last few months with playing Allman Brothers music.
Oh yeah.
So maybe they're ready to like. Derek, they're fans of Tedeschi Trucks, but like you can almost forget that like Derek Trucks, he's in the band, leads the band, and Susan, the same. But I think they're fans of the band, so I think they get excited about their own music and they're excited about what they're working on and putting out and want to share it and continue it. So no, I mean that's a common sentiment amongst fans. Like a lot of us want to hear more of the I Am the Moon songs that didn't or haven't gotten much live play, played live. So
I'm very shocked
it's just too much.
Haven't done that. It is just too much. I think it's just too hard to be able to. I mean, think about 12 people all have roles, and you gotta have, like I said before, you gotta have some staples in there from previous albums. And by the time you mix in, you're talking about 1 or 2 songs per album and a 15 set with 4 covers. So now you only have like, 30% that they can dedicate to 2 or 3 albums. And you're like, okay, well now I Am the Moon, how many tracks was on that? Like 20? I don't know. That was a big guess, but I don't know how many songs were on I Am the Moon total, all 4 albums. But, if I get 1 or 2 from that, you're lucky. We got 2, Soul Sweet Song and Ain't That Something.
I think it was 26 songs, 20-something
26 songs. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, no, there's a lot.
So,
and like I'm happy that we have, what is it, 5, 6, including all the albums, like all these TTB albums. But I guess I never really thought like the problem in quotes would be that like, oh, you're not going to be able to hear all these songs played live all the time. Like they can't play everything, and they can't play totally different sets all the time. But they've gone through legs of tours, and they played. I mean, how many songs have they played already? Just like in just this month, like count it up. I mean,
well,
30,
they have that
40,
booklet.
50. Who knows?
We're still questioning what was on that booklet, that tour booklet on Gabe's piano, right?
The playbill,
that was the playbill,
agenda, the syllabus.
I mean, because they honestly they can't pull from 450 songs that they have in their, or whatever it is inside their repertoire, or 700 songs. I mean, only bands like, like Fish and stuff like can do that, because Fish is 4 people. It's a little bit more of you can swerve a little bit faster, but with 12 people, it's a little bit harder. So you have to consider how difficult it is, so you have your go-tos, and that'll do well. Everyone knows the music, and you're not really relearning a whole new set list every tour. Can you imagine? I mean, it's fun, but it's also their job. So they have to perform well, and if there's one band out there that it's flawless almost every night, it's this band. It's because they practice and they know the material, they're good enough to where they're professional enough to change it up for us, which is great. I mean, last year, how many new covers did they play? Like, I don't
the whole
even know
tour was based around on some regard on Deuces Wild was the introducing new songs. Now they're doing not Deuces Wild with their own songs, but that's what the theme is introducing new music and diving probably back into their roots, whatever that means. Their own like originals for sure.
Well, we haven't seen anything too rare, but obviously Mike is making an effort to change up his songs with the 44 blues and I feel bad. Yeah.
Well, they've had those come here and there. I feel so bad. Got a lot of play last year.
Yeah, it actually has gotten quite a bit this year too. But I think he makes a pretty good effort. He didn't have to. That's the thing. He can say, "Well, I just want to sing these 4 songs. Just whenever my cue, just I'll change it up every other night." But he's got a handful of songs that he can do.
But yeah, and I think just like him and just like the band in general, they always seem to keep things fresh. It's just over the course of a leg of a tour, over the course of legs of tours, over the course of a year. Like it's from week to week, from show to show, there's slight variations. This changes. So that definitely keeps my attention, for sure. It's like you never know what, they're going to play or do or is going to happen that night. I feel like every show has a story behind it. There really is for this band, I think, something special and unique about every single show. That's why I do this, because I feel like, what is the story of this show? Oh, it's the makeup show. It's this was going on in the community. They played 2 new songs. There's so many special things about this show. This will be something you're probably going to remember. Oh, I remember that show, that makeup show. They gave us 2 new songs. Maybe that was part of it. Like, because you guys had missed the show, let's give them 2 new songs. And knowing TTB fans, majority of the people who love this band are nutcases like me and you, who want to hear the new stuff. So it's like, play the new stuff. Don't play the hits. Play the new stuff. Play everything.
How about 1999? They play the town as the performers from, and they introduce a new song written by the most famous musician from that town. I mean, and it sticks. It's not just a one-off. To me, that's unbelievable. Usually things like that are just, okay, we'll play a song that I'm trying to think
you're talking about Mike Madison's Minnesota roots when they debuted it in Minnesota.
Well, they debuted it in Minnesota.
I remember that.
Prince is from town, and here we go with a staple now for TTB. That's just amazing. They came up with a new version of the song to throw it on its head, and then they give us fans something that's awesome that stays with us, and they keep playing it, and it's entertaining and invigorates the crowd when he's screaming "party." People are just they're all by it. They love it. So
they create a unique experience for the people attending the show in that specific geographic location. But in doing that, we all benefit because we're getting just something that is meaningful to the band, meaningful to the audience, and we're getting new music, like just new chapters, new directions, new. They're just it's an excuse. It's a reason. It's they for them to try new things and do new things. What people predict sometimes what's TTB going to play in this song. Oh, this is Willie Nelson's hometown. We're going to play this. This is Prince's home. Like based on where they are, it might influence what's in the set list. Or what covers they do, or you can find clues in lyrics and song titles. Like they're going to play that because this song references so and so, whatever. We got to find out what bar they mentioned in
Day, right? Y'all were talking about Mother's Day last time in Texas.
Yeah, I think so.
All the references to Mother. Yeah, you're like, what day is it? Yeah, what year? Yeah. So it's a fun to be in a fan. So as I was having fun, so I was nice enough to be given access to some seats that were down in the front. So I was pretty lucky to enjoy the show pretty close. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Had some fun concert buddies next to me.
Is this more or less from your point of view, this picture of Gabe and the horns?
That wasn't my photo, but yeah.
No,
was that my photo? No.
Maybe this was from another show.
Probably. Oh, that's probably from another show I went to.
Yeah, I pulled it from.
That's Efren right there.
Yeah, I got the wrong. Maybe I got the wrong photos. So I dig too deep into your.
Okay, no, that was probably from last week. If that was from Efren. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Yeah. So, is the trumpet player Emmanuel? Is that correct?
I think so.
He played a nice solo on something.
Oh, I got the right ones now.
I meant to jot it down what it was, but he did maybe it was Bound for Glory, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember. But it was well played, and even classic what we always talk about, but he finished it, everyone claps, and Elizabeth turned to him, smiled, and nodded her head and gave him a pat on his back. Like they were all like, yeah, that was great, man. Keep it up, It's like giving him a halftime, speech and after his solo. He really fits in well with the band.
Yeah, they managed to just assimilate all these new people. I mean, it helps to be talented, but it's more than that. They just make it work, make these changes work over the years.
Yeah,
and they keep their essence and core of what the band is and their sound, but their sound evolves. Like I think that's something they're able to strike. Like we're saying, some bands maybe all their albums sound the same, all their songs sound the same, all relatively speaking. But TTB has a sound, but it's also part of their sound is knowing that it evolves through their albums and through their live shows as well.
Right. I mean, they're a band that has to evolve. I mean, again, you have to keep 12 people on their toes, So that's my photograph. Yeah. That's
this because the screens I know are this year. Yeah. Those are new.
Yeah, there you go. So we can talk about the screens, by the way. And so I'll say this: that was my favorite part of the show, other than being so close. The new addition is the screens, and they're interactive with the musicians as they perform. And they're also interactive in a way of they're artistic with moving images, or as you see here in this image, there's some sort of bubble or kaleidoscope type, psychedelic looking backdrop, but they move. They're constantly moving, and they're screens, so they're silhouettes or images of the drummers, or meanwhile there's also picturesque scenes behind it, or there's also when they play Made Up Mind, there's the bus and the buffalo. scenes from the album, and they're different artistic value.
Well,
So
that's awesome.
I love this
Kofi.
photograph. Yeah, so you can see that they sometimes are individual, or sometimes it's all one image. So this is during Soul Sweet Song. Spoiler alert for everyone going to see a show this year. You'll probably see this image. But like, look at that.
At one
It
point or
resonates.
another, yeah.
It resonates throughout the whole crowd. This is what they're singing about, and it's fantastic. It literally captures everything the band needs to do. It's not blinking lights, it's not lasers, it's not smoke machines. It's classy images, that are probably produced by a fan, probably Bradley, but someone has gone to great lengths to put this together, and it's really, really, it changes every song and during the song, and it's not overbearing, and I was up close, as you can see, but I imagine if I was in the last row, it would be fun to watch as well. I think it's by far the best thing they've ever done. I enjoyed last year's lounge act, dropping chandeliers and stuff, but this is professional and must have cost a lot of money, but it's really nice.
Yeah, that's what's been the early reactions from conversations I've had or whatever, is saying, like, people saying that it's really enhances the viewing experience. It's not a distraction. It's working in sync with the band and their sound. And I got clarifications. It's not so much for the people who are sitting further back to watch the show or have a monitor to watch the show.
Correct.
It's more focused on the artistic presentation of the show, but I imagine it enhances which also does enhance the viewing experience for people who are sitting even further back behind where you were. I'm sure seeing this image of Kofi. I think what's maybe even the number one thing about this specifically, what we're looking at, because there's people at that show, I'm sure there are a handful that don't know who Kofi is and what he was all about. So now there's people there who asking the person that they're there with, like, who is that? What's that? What was that guy in the flute? And then that helps keep Kofi's memory and story and history of this band alive and being talked about. So I think that's like a big thing. Like, it gives them it makes it, there's at times where they can be more clear with their message and what they're talking about and what they want you, the audience members, to take away from. Like, not everything needs to be totally vague and open to interpretation, fully or all the time. So to have this as a way to communicate beyond the music and the people on stage, I think is super cool. Was there flute on this Soul Sweet Song? Sometimes there's flute, sometimes there's not on Soul Sweet Song. On an intro, maybe.
No, I can't remember. Maybe
it's okay.
If it did, it happened fast. So now that you asked,
but either way, the song is inspired by
Well, yeah. During the show,
during
the song, the panels change to different pictures of Kofi through time, and so it's not just this the whole time. It changes, and even goes with the music, So you're entertained and you're watching that, plus you're watching the band. It's fantastic. And you mentioned earlier about Idle Wind and the intro flute with Kebby. Well, there's his image is up behind them as Susan's singing the intro to Idle Wind. You get this image of Kebby playing the flute up on the screen panel.
Kofi,
it's really
of Kofi.
Of Kofi.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's almost like they I don't know if it's tied to it all, but at the Brothers shows they had the screens they had like one screen. It was like, this is like an next level version of what the Brothers shows were doing with screens and how they were utilizing them for artistic enhancements. Yeah, it's super cool.
To reach out to Bradley and see if we can get another interview and find out about these screens. And
get all the details. Have you been to the Sphere yet?
No, unfortunately, I have not.
Because that's
I'm married with children.
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't been there either. I wonder if
live in South Carolina. So
yeah. But I wonder if that's necessarily the future of live concert experience, but it is like how much influence is that having on what bands are trying to present in 2025, incorporating more video and more graphics. But I don't know, there's always been aspects of this, but something seems more.
I mean, the Allman Brothers always did some sort of like I don't know how to describe it, but it was always like
psychedelic lights,
psychedelic lights, and it all stems from the '60s of doing the projector type thing where they put the liquid in it, and the different dyes, and it's just psychedelic. And the Dead did that too. All the bands from the Bay Area and the '60s did it, but it seems like the Allman Brothers kept that going for a long time.
Yeah,
but
David. I was going to read this. David Boyd says, I was far back at Sun, Sand, and Soul, and the monitor was the best view of the stage by far. Was well done. Yeah, good reception. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that this, it's really cool how they can incorporate like the silhouettes of the players in with like graphic images or video and stuff. And so you see him playing as he's playing the song, but at the same time, it's a still or a movie behind him that's mixed in there. So you're getting present and like this setting in the monitor. It's just amazing. You got to experience it. That's all.
I won't know where to look. I'm not going to know where to look. Like I've already had those conversations with David Flam and others about like, we're all kind of our own directors with our heads on a swivel while watching a TDB show. I tend to like to watch the reactions of the other members to the person playing, because you could hear them playing. I mean, you want to watch everyone play and do their thing too, of course, at times. But there's something special and utilitarian about like watching Derek react to Susan play and focusing on him and focusing on Susan when Derek's playing, because I can hear. I know I'm not studying his hands. I'm a guitar player, but I'm not a hand studier usually. It's not really my thing. But there you get
luck with that.
Yeah, people are like, oh, what's he trying to figure out and study, and like that's a little bit like even beyond me. But you appreciate it, like definitely the work. But I would almost like, I sometimes think there's almost like too much close-ups on hands at shows. Do we need to see you can still see the full. I'd rather see at least the full guitar in the shot, the facial expression.
Right. I mean,
I want to see more people playing the piano. I don't know. I think that's more fun. There's something about seeing, like, there were some good shots of Chuck Leavell at those, especially at those brothers shows through the Nugs, like really getting in there behind him, and you can see the point of view and the physical aspect. I don't know. It's all fun.
It's all fun. It's all good things. Yeah. I enjoyed watching everyone from the vantage point that I had. Again, I was blessed with these seats, and just you could see everyone interacting and smiling and having a good time. At the end, Bound for Glory, I posted a video today on Facebook, and you could watch the video all the way through. Alicia, by the way, so I think someone already mentioned that she comes to the front of the stage to sing her part, which is fantastic. But she was up there and she took a step back and almost stepped on a cable or something that she would have tripped over. But Susan's like, whoa, don't step back. And she's like, okay. And then she just kind of stood there and danced. And then at the end, they kind of, the last beat of the song, they kind of bumped hips, and they laughed about
Careful
that.
out there.
And,
Careful out there. What song do you know what song this was?
This is Made Up Mind. Yeah. So you could see the train at the top, see the train at the top left. Yeah. So that's the cover of Made Up Mind.
Yeah. They can break out the artwork that goes with the different songs and the different eras. Like, and you could have, like, nostalgia is a part of being a fan of TTB for a lot of us, have been there pretty much since the beginning, at least of the formation of this band. Like, they put out so many albums and so many tours and so many special moments. Like, what I'm saying is we're all old. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, that's nostalgia.
We lived through their experience. We've enjoyed it. That's one of the best things about being a fan of this band now. I mean, they've got 10 years in, obviously built on a lifetime of a career, but this band is relatively still new. 10 years isn't that many years, or 11 years now. But
I feel like
if
this,
you
but
jump in now, you can really start a whole nother experience. Like, you know,
I don't know, just the fact that it's like a husband and wife band that's 12 people that travels and they putting out original songs. Like, I'm like, yeah, how long is this gonna last for when I think of it in like those terms? But they put out, I keep saying, referencing all their original albums. Like, I feel like this new one is just gravy for me. Like, I'm just grateful for all the music. So I feel like it's every this album and everything that comes after this is certainly in like the gravy bin for for me. Just as long as archive.org stays up, like I'll have enough music to sustain me for the I'll always have enough and never get sick of.
Yeah, I'm being selfish, but I haven't seen as many tapes pop up this year, and I'm a little worried that people aren't taping as much, but I'm not taping myself, so I appreciate everything that's happened. People's videos.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
I don't know if I haven't heard anything about any. I mean, it's always up to the venue. I think ultimately, if they
right,
the band, I don't think
true.
it's an issue, but I don't know if there's been anything like that that's come into play as far as people haven't been allowed to do it, but. I mean, I appreciate the tapers for sure, and whatever we get is super cool.
Did your Jeff Fink, your previous guest, wasn't he he's a taper, right? So
no, he's not.
He's not a taper. I thought he taped, but anyway,
he's a great fan.
Well, of course, if you're gonna tape, you usually are. So, but no, I mean, I'm sure someone taped some of that stuff, and Asheville is a big taping town, so they usually have. Someone in the audience with
I got a guy,
but
yeah. Someone was messaging me that they had a bunch of like a few gigs of footage of what show was he at? I'll look it up, but there might be some more. There might be some new stuff coming up on YouTube that people are gonna put out. ttbase.net does a pretty damn good job of organizing that on their media page, on their video page. David Boyce, they love and respect. The love and respect they all have for each other is awesome. Yeah, it's rare. Like, that's why I always ask, or will often ask about, not that I don't listen to other music or I'm not familiar with other bands, but some people are just go to more shows than me. They have second favorite bands, so we did use first, but they're more in tune with other bands and the culture within those fan circles and the culture within a band itself. It's it's almost like in sports here. I'm trying another sports analogy. Like, you want to have a cohesive through line with communication from ownership to management or general managers off the field, then manager, and then your team captains and players on the field. So it's almost like you have that within the band and within these different like structures. When you have that like symbiosis, or whatever, you have that
you cohesiveness.
Cohesiveness in the culture from top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
Hierarchy is good when everybody's on the same page with it, and the people who are more at the top of it know what the hell they're doing and have a respect for the people who are not at the top of it. Like, that's what you need. You need roles and people who know what the hell they're doing, and leaders. And these bands are, Terry and Susan are great leaders.
Yeah. I mean, I'll kind of say that, like, it's like football, college football, like one of the most iconic images, being, obviously I'm from South Carolina, I'm a Clemson fan, is the all in slogan. Larry Williams, your past guest, we'll talk more about this, but the coach, Dabo Sweeney, he instigated this culture at Clemson using this phrase of all in, and it starts from the top and goes all the way to the players, to the cheerleaders, to everyone, the fans, the students, and they use it as a mantra to just, that's what you're doing. You're putting everything in. There's no doubt why you're there or what you're going to do, and you're going to gain success by using this. And it resonates throughout the whole, the fan community, the sporting world. Basically, it's pretty amazing. You create this culture, and you will be successful.
Yeah, that's the word I was going to use. Resonates. Sometimes you got to figure out what resonates within a culture, what will resonate with people that you're trying to appeal to your band, that you want to, like your band and things like that. But sometimes, but I feel like sometimes there could be a fine line between something being a cliche or trite or overused. But there's a reason why things become liked and used, but just sometimes just things resonate in different ways with people, and there's no accounting for it. Like certain phrases, like that's why coaches, to continue the sports thing, get like fired or whatever. You bring in a new person, they're just given a similar message with a new voice and just phrasing something differently. Did you ever think about it like that? The way we frame things in our mind can help us. It changes sometimes the way the world acts in real life. Like, let me share. I wanted to share the because Susan did that late night appearance after that was this was all last night. What day is this? Susan Tedeschi crashes. After show in Asheville. Even after their 16-song show, she wanted to keep singing, so she went a couple of blocks from the arena down to the one-stop Asheville Music Hall. It was still going strong late into the night, with the shade of recruits who invited her up for a sit-in. They were already played a couple of hours.
So I did not attend this, and I went to the other after show, and there was no members there. So I attended the wrong one, apparently. But I still enjoyed it. It's okay. I enjoyed the music there. It was Amy Bryant, I think the name of the woman. Anyway, she was very good. Young singer-songwriter. Very much so in the TTB spinoff of bands. I don't know if it's local, if she was local or not, but they were good.
That's cool that there's all this music going on. I remember we talked, I think, a little bit
Wednesday night.
Did I do a recap of a previous Asheville show from two years ago or something like that? But I feel like I've had this conversation. I mean, I've never been to Asheville, but
oh, it's a great, it's got a lot of things
culture
going on. It's a lot of there's a lot of people there. I mean, not probably less now, but there's a good scene there at night.
All right, tell me if you could hear this. Okay. When I
Nothing. Ray.
Do you hear that? No,
nothing.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, I think it's short. It's short, so
all right, let's see. Susan, I'm looking for Susan. When Susan was that like two?
Started at the beginning, I think.
No, she comes later.
I got music. Oh, there you go.
I'm like,
you speed it up.
Cute. Sounds good though.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's no Amy Ray fans in the group here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Not trying to be a hero.
Wow.
That's evil. Too close to see. Hey. Oh, I just want to sing with you. I can't help it. I know it's too close to see. I know Cody wants to sing too. Come on. I'm just too close to see it. I'm just too close to see. Ooh, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Gotta have something wanna be with me. Nothing from nothing, at least nothing. Gotta have something if you wanna be with me.
She reading it off her phone.
Yeah, this is so cool.
She's reading those lyrics off the phone. That's great.
Yeah, that was super cool.
I'd love to do karaoke with that woman. That'd be
I am
amazing.
AVL is the channel that I just shared. That was cool.
Yeah.
Shady Recruits with Susan. Yeah, that's just, I love the just popping up on stage and the casual and just with the jeans and the phone and the glasses. They're just so down. They're just so down to earth. It's almost like a weird tease in a way. It's almost like, oh, I could be if so and so if I would have done so and so in my life, I would have started playing guitar a little bit earlier. You know, whatever that could have been me. Just because like they seem like such, they are, you know, seem like such down to earth. Regular
what's crazy
people.
is they were in Arkansas, which is, I looked it up, it was 12 and a half hours. That was like what, Monday night or Sunday night? So it was 2 days ago, and they drove across the country to get to Asheville, and then they play a full show, you know, on the bus or whatever. And then she has enough, you know, energy to perform a whole show and then go out late night. Cause I think this occurred at like after 1 o'clock in the morning. Someone was saying that they had already gone to the show and left. You know, she didn't show up right after the TPB show. It was much later. So
I got to find out everyone's average wake up time, because shows relatively all start the same. They're mostly in the evening. So, and you know, it's kind of like if you work at night, you know, you sleep during the day. So I get it. But what is amazing, and I can only imagine the challenges and overcoming the challenges of that much travel. I mean, yeah, it's just you have to take care of your health, otherwise like you won't last. You won't be able to do it, certainly not year after year. It's like well,
I can tell you, I drove across the country last year and with the family in the family truckster to the Grand Canyon and back. And let me tell you, that was living on the road like that. No way. I could never do it. You know, we did it and that was it. And I have that experience, but for my job to be able to, I mean, no wonder you have to get along with these people. You know, you have to be like a big family, because that's the only way you're not going to kill each other. And we almost did as a family. So you can imagine
learning to live together. I keep thinking
that
phrase rattling around in my head. Maybe it's an important one that we need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. It's hitting me now, but like, because there's something about it that, like, especially because tolerance is the most important thing. And when you're tolerant, you're not violent, and being tolerant and violent and not violent is what's important to have a peaceful civil society that functions and where people can live and prosper. But
it's like
it doesn't even mean you have to accept everything about everyone. You can't, you know, it's not trite. It's not a cliche. It's not Pollyannish. Learning to live together. It's a call to action. It's something you could do. Like, it's proactive. I think the phrase in a lot of ways.
No, absolutely. We're, I mean, all trying to do that in any society as we get.
No, not everyone is trying.
Well, I mean, they're trying to live the way they want to live together, but that's the difference between what I want, or whoever wants. That's the problem, I think, in general. But I think going back to what you said about them being great leaders, I mean, that's, learning to live together and to work together, to be together, to grow together, to, be successful together. Those are all things that start with good leaders and trying to push that envelope. So being a fan of this band goes well beyond the music. It's a culture, and I'm excited to see it happen. And like, I wasn't, thrilled to take 2 days off of work to drive to 4 hours away. It was a little bit of a challenge for me, but when I got there and I was like, oh man, this is exactly where I need to be. Listening to the music during the show last night, I just closed my eyes, like almost the entire song. And it's just played to so much perfection. And it just, it speaks to me and 3,000 other people that were in the auditorium. You know, it's great to be a fan. You know,
I get what you mean by closing your eyes during a song, because sometimes I look away from the stage, or I'm in the hallway listening to like the echo of the song. I sometimes just like to, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't always need to have my attention focused 100% on the stage. I don't know. I appreciate the sound more, and I think about more like where like I am, the universe or something.
Yeah. If the sound isn't like familiar, I want to be watching because I want to see why. You know, I want to see what's happening. Why is this going in a different direction that I'm not, you know, either used to or comfortable with or whatever. But when it's perfect and it sounds perfect and it's like a warm blanket on a cold day kind of feeling, that's when you close your eyes and you're just captured in this moment of just what, you know, good music can do for you. So
magical.
It's magical.
Dude, I appreciate your time.
Hey,
We've been
man,
talking
no
for an hour and 20 minutes. I know I've been probably keeping you on too long, and you're on East Coast time. What time is it now? It's getting
no
late.
worries.
Ben's got a family. He's been driving around town. I appreciate
no
it.
problem. I took 2 naps today, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
but
that's what I suspect people like this Susan Tedeschi person and other members of her band probably do. I forget. I asked someone. I don't think we went deep into it either with Gabe or Kebby. I asked something about who sleeps the most, or like,
oh geez, yeah,
maybe Mark. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Whoever has the most comfortable cot, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't know how they sleep on those buses. God, I can imagine with the rolling and the whole time.
Yeah. No, that's not. No, that's not ideal. I can't believe that. Maybe you get used to it.
You must
a little bit.
It's a lifestyle.
If you're tired enough.
Yeah. All right, Adam, man, I appreciate it. Well, we'll see you at the last show of the tour. I'm going to St. Augustine. That's the only thing else I have on my docket. I might go to Charlotte, but that's just the week before. But nothing this summer. So
cool. I'll do my little wrap up now.
Okay.
Like, subscribe, do all the things. I'll get out the audio version. Check out Randy Bershaw, supporter of the show, frequent guest. Check out Weedside, his dispensary in Woodside in Queens. Check out that. Also check out Starbuds. Why not? In Buffalo, if you're in Buffalo, Nick Patillo's spot. Want to shout them out, and also ttbase.net. Definitely continue to support those guys and check out their site. It's incredible what they've done.
Thank you for
Tedeschi
that.
Trucks. Yeah, Tedeschi Trucks Band.com. Swamp Family. Thank you, crew. Thank you again, Larry. What else? I think that's everything. Did I cut I think I covered it.
I think you got it. There was no poster for this show, and it seems to be there's only a single poster for the tour. So it could be different as the summer comes on, but for now it seems to be the same poster.
There'll be a poster at the Beacon.
That's true. At the Beacon. Yeah.
I have no idea. I have to think so, but maybe not. You never know. Maybe there's no law. Is there a law you have to have a poster?
No,
maybe not.
No,
there's no laws.
There's not. No laws.
Sweet. On that note, take care, guys. Thank you again, Larry.
All right, man. See you later.
Peace.